draw as much as I wanted because I thought I originally wanted to be a writer.
Mm-hmm.
But then I realized something. Writing a story is hard for me. Like, I have some concepts of basic of the English language, but like I'm not that illiterate. I'm just. It feels like I was like given like limitations, and I probably should have studied more about the thing. Which honestly, I should have studied more about the English language anyway, because it's English. It's the language we speak,
Right.
but it's not the language that we. It's weird. We have English, but at the same time, it's like trying to figure out exactly what we're actually speaking, how we speak it.
Mm-hmm.
But to get off sidetrack, what was it to do with my art? I feel like the way I write a story now is by trying to practice and draw it and voice it with my voice. It's like this is where my art and talent came in, because I realized I had talent to draw. I had talent to do this.
Yeah.
So before coming here, I was able to simply, yeah, I know I almost spelled it. Don't worry about it.
It's okay.
Anyway, I almost literally went to this school, and I picked up some experiences of animation and some on game design. Now, granted, like I mentioned before in our first video, probably our second, I have to remember which episodes I really got to rewatch our episodes when the time comes. I basically felt like I didn't get the experience I needed enough, but then it stopped me from like drawing. Now, granted, here's a full God's honest truth. I'm still practicing even right now, and the thing is, anyway, yeah. So while still drawing, I still felt like I was lacking the motivation to keep drawing until recently. I've been drawing, like, don't get me wrong, my artwork is like spanned in like weeks worth of work. Like this one drawing I draw once a week, and then there might be a drawing I might have that's 2 weeks like later in process of just drawing it out, just for the sake of just drawing it. It's not perfect detailed drawing. It's not sketched out. It's not rough draft or anything. It's just there because I have a job and I have to basically still attend school for game design. Not gonna say which one,
You don't have
but
to keep saying that though.
oh, you're right. Okay, what I go to school for game design, and when it comes to actually just doing the stuff I want to do, it tends to take time to just simply just illustrate and draw something that you want to do. Because the artwork I want to try and bring, I do want to try and do Japanese animation design with some realistic features of like how a weapon actually could like hurt someone, or how something actually works with emotions, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like sometimes I don't have any emotions sometimes. I know it's weird to say, but it just feels that way to me sometimes. Because you've been through so much that you basically almost just like feel something, but when something dramatic or something heavy falls on you, you feel like the worst kind of feeling ever.
Mm-hmm.
It's just strange to me when you really think about it. But other than that, I'm still gonna keep drawing, even if I'm not able to go outside much. I mean, I'm able to go outside and practice drawing, but all the places I need to go to in order to practice my drawings the most are closed right now until until Barney's birthday is over. So basically, we need to figure that out. And once it's over, I can finally just simply just say that I can just move on.
I'm just, you
I
know,
know, I know. That
I'm
joke's
just
never.
waiting for the day when Barney's gonna blow out those freaking candles.
Yeah, Barney, are you pulling the cows yet? Oh, not yet, kids. You creepy, creepy dinosaur. How dare you? Don't blow your candles. You son of a whatever. I'm not gonna lie. Like trying to actually figure out what I want to do for my work. In fact, the thing that inspired me to actually do my artwork, it wasn't just Miyazaki alone. It was actually a comic book artist known as Tony Valente that actually inspired me to do some work.
Right.
I don't think I've ever told you this. Have I told you this about this part, Eric?
Well, I already know it because you bought the manga.
Right. Okay, so I did tell you. Okay. So Tony Valente is a very talented, very amazing comic book artist, in my opinion. Now, granted, his stuff is anime based, but it feels like it has a style of its own when it comes to drawing the hands and feet and everything. But when it comes to his artwork, it feels like you're actually reading a manga that's been exported from Japan. That's how good he is. I mean, I've shown you some of his work, right, Eric?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Now, granted, it may not have a very impactful story on the first few chapters like One Piece did. Well, then again, I don't think even One Piece had actually it did have some very impactful moments. What am I talking about? Tony Valente is like a story that aims for personal stuff. When you really read into it and really give it a chance to actually just try and be something of its own, it can really be a very sorry. It can be a very, very interesting story that actually works. And the art style really fits with the stuff that he's actually trying to do. Like, I feel like that he is like an artist that's simply just doing the comics that he wants to do, that he wants to actually contribute. So when I've heard some of his interviews online, that inspired me even further to just keep going with my ideas and my imagination on what stories I want to create and how I want to implement them and make them interesting in my own way. Even if they may be referenced somehow without me really even realizing it, I realize that I can simply just contribute to something bigger, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, of course you can. Like, I mean, that's all it takes is to have a good idea and just be able to implement it, you know?
Yeah. And that's why I want to draw some anime style, because here's the weird thing I've actually realized now that I think about it. People have been drawn so much to the anime that when children grow up of our age, of this day, when kids start seeing stuff like this, they're probably going to wonder where this stuff even came from. Like what inspired the artist to do Owl House, or what inspired Tony Valente to do manga as well. Stuff like that. They might look into it to where even the most classic animations were still around and still are being glorified for what they are today. Pieces of great work that deserve recognition and deserve an identity of their own. And sure, some people may have problems with anime, like there's so much screaming into it, but that's just how they express their feelings and how they do their acting. You know, there's nothing we can do about that. But does that make it a bad art form? Of course not. It's great. It's great because it depends on the artist and the writer who draws or writes the story, or both. The person who drew the story, and then there's the artist that contributed to the work because they love the writing so much.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I like to contribute more into drawing, because I speak more when it comes down to it. That's what I really want to do when I see this opportunity to draw something. And I think game design also, in a weird way, can help you with that as well. Because sure, game design, in my opinion, may take you a lot longer to do than it would animation, but that's actually the reverse.
Mm-hmm.
Because game engines, it could take you like, what, 3, maybe 4 days to make a really great model. It depends on the time and the knowledge you have.
Yeah, probably.
It could even take you like a whole 6 hours to draw the basic skins of a model. The next day to simply just finish polishing it, because it depends on what engine you use and what you do with it as well, right, Eric? I mean,
Right.
if not, I understand.
Yeah, I mean, like basically whatever models you make, it's gonna look different in a different engine.
And that's the thing that people don't seem to realize, that they say, "Oh, I'm going to be a game designer and I basically have to do something without coding." No, you have to do coding because that's a requirement. Because the reason why requirements like that are meant to be met is because, in a weird way, it's meant to test on what you know and what you can do the most in your work, so you can find out what's best benefits for you.
Well, I wouldn't say that people necessarily have to know code to be a game designer because if they're just
True.
gonna apply for a job to be like, say, like a VFX artist, then they're not gonna need to know how to do any of that really. But then again, some of it they will know need to know how to do that because that's how they're gonna implement those effects. So,
Exactly.
but it
That's what.
but at that point, sometimes it's only really a minimal knowledge you'll need of the coding. But
And that's the
regardless,
thing.
I mean, it's definitely something that you should try to push yourself to learn regardless, though,
Oh yeah, I'm
because
definitely gonna keep
I
pushing
mean,
myself.
it's always gonna have a use probably. So it's
And
gonna be
that's the
really
thing too.
useful to you as a game designer to know how to do that, even if you are trying to be an artist, say like being like a 3D modeler or something, because that'll just show something else you know.
And that's the thing too, though. I think with experimental animation, you're supposed to use 3D effects or 2D effects because, let's face it, it feels like experimental animation is a study to put art forms at work that best benefits something.
Right.
At least that's how I feel when I'm doing the programs. Because I'm doing game design first, then I'm going to try and see if I can do animation second.
Mhm.
Because I'm not giving up on this stuff, and I promise someone I know in my life that I would do this and finish it and see where this goes and try and make it work.